There are at least 10 completely different ways a person can become rich, and almost nobody talks about the differences. Level 1. Old money rich. We just throw everyone into one big category labeled rich and move on. But the person who inherited their money, the person who built an app from a garage, and the person quietly investing part of their paycheck every month for 30 years are not the same kind of rich at all. Stay with me, because by the last one on this list, you are going to realize there is actually a version of this you could start doing this week, and most people never do. So let's start with the one everyone thinks they understand, but probably doesn't. Old money. This is wealth that has been sitting in a family for generations, passed down instead of earned by the person holding it today. Think the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, names that became connected with American wealth long before anyone alive today was even born. What makes old money different from almost every other type on this list is the way they think about spending. They don't try to show off. They put money into things that hold value for decades: land, art, education, and businesses built to survive longer than one person's lifetime. If you are sitting there thinking, okay, but I was not born into this, don't worry. This category was never really meant for you anyway. Keep watching, because a few categories from now is where this actually becomes useful. Level 2. New money rich. New money completely flips that idea around. This is wealth created within one lifetime, earned, not inherited. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and the entrepreneur who turned one idea into an empire, none of them started with that kind of advantage. And here's the part that surprises people. Most of the wealthiest people in the world today actually fall into the self-made category, not the inherited one. Which brings up the obvious question. If most rich people built it themselves, what did they actually do differently? That answer starts showing up in the next category. Level 3. Tech rich. Inside new money, there's a specific type that deserves its own spotlight, the tech rich. These are the founders and engineers who became wealthy at a speed history has never seen before. Going from a small garage project to a billion-dollar company in just a few years. Something that used to take an oil tycoon an entire career. But notice something. Almost none of them became rich by just saving a paycheck. They became rich by owning something. Remember that, because it is going to come back later in a way you probably do not expect. Level 4. Real estate rich. Then there is the real estate rich. And if tech wealth is all about speed, this is the complete opposite. Honestly, this is the first category on this list that an average person can actually follow. These are people who build wealth through patience, not luck. A lot of them started small. One rental property, then the income from that helps them buy a second one, then a third. And the whole thing quietly compounds over 20 or 30 years. If you've ever wondered whether you need to already be rich to get into real estate, the answer is no. You need to start small and just keep going. And we will come back to what not stopping actually looks like near the end. Level 5. Celebrity rich. Now compare that with celebrity wealth, which is almost the opposite of patience. Fame pays in sudden, massive waves instead of slow, steady growth. But here's what nobody talks about. A lot of celebrities who make huge amounts of money do not actually keep it. The ones who stay wealthy treat fame as the starting point, not the finish line. They use that first big opportunity to build something that does not depend on staying famous forever. Sound familiar? It is almost the same lesson as the tech rich, just wearing a different outfit. And yes, we are going to connect all these ideas by the end. Level 6. Athlete rich. Athlete wealth works on a similar timeline, but there is one major difference. The career is short. Most athletes only have around 10 to 15 years of peak earning before their body forces them to step away. That means the smartest ones start building income outside their sport while they are still playing. If you ever feel like you are starting too early to think about money, remember this. The athletes who got it right started thinking about their future while they were still young. And the next group did the same thing, just with a completely different approach. Level 7. Investor rich. The investor rich do not create a product. They buy pieces of other people's businesses and hold onto them. Warren Buffett never created a famous invention. He became successful by understanding value and having the patience to wait for decades. But here is the interesting part. This is the first category on the list that almost anyone watching this can start learning today. No business required, no fame required, no inheritance required. But I am not going to explain exactly how yet, because the next category makes this point impossible to ignore. Level 8. Crypto rich. Crypto wealth took the idea of long-term investing and compressed decades of waiting into just a few crazy years. People who invested a few $100s early and simply held on ended up seeing returns that used to take a lifetime from real estate or traditional investments. Notice the pattern now? Every wealthy person we have talked about so far either owned something, waited, or earned a big opportunity and turned it into something that could grow over time. That is not a coincidence. That is basically the entire formula. We are getting to how you can actually apply it, I promise. Level 9, Inheritor Rich. There is also the Inheritor Rich. This is different from old money because they were not born into a family dynasty. They simply received a large transfer of wealth. They did not build the original fortune they received. Some inheritors go on to grow what they received by managing it with the same discipline that wealthy families use. Others spend it quickly, unprepared for the responsibility of managing sudden, large wealth. Studies show that a significant portion of people who receive large inheritances lose most of it within a few years. Managing wealth, it turns out, is a skill, and it is not automatically passed down along with the money. Level 10, Quiet Rich. The quiet rich might be the most surprising type of all. These are the people nobody would ever guess are wealthy. Teachers, mechanics, accountants, small business owners, people who spent 30 or more years quietly saving and investing without any dramatic moment. No inheritance, no startup, no viral success, no huge sports contract. Just the same simple habits repeated for decades. The same habits that almost every wealthy person on this list eventually depended on in some way, owning something and not touching it. If you have already started doing that, even with a small amount, you are probably further ahead than you think. And if you have not started yet, that is exactly the gap this video is meant to close. Building wealth does not require fame, an inheritance, or a billion-dollar idea. It just requires starting before you feel ready.